All right, so Big Up Yourself Originals, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Up Yourself Show. I am your host, Winsome Alexander, also known as the Big Sister. I'm a self empowerment mentor, I'm an empathetic listener, and crisis interventionist. And I've been named one of Texas's most inspiring women for work with trauma survivors since 2008. Now, this show make space for inspiring stories of trauma survivors, highlighting their resilience and personal strength. We advocate for self celebration and self love and healthy self esteem and self empowerment. We are on a mission to take back what trauma stole from us. If this sounds good to you, please join our community. Our community is growing and supportive and loving and full of life, and join us and subscribe and like the live or like the replay. And please leave a comment and share all this goodness with someone. Oh, Mimi is here. Hello, Mimi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am thrilled. I am thrilled. Who else is here? H&D. I can't wait to experience today's episode. Oh my goodness. You guys, welcome. Welcome. All right. I am thrilled to bring you today's guest. She is the beautiful and gracious Queen Thandiwe. We'll hear from her in a moment. But first, here's her impressive bio. So please listen up. All right. Queen Thandiwe is the founder and CEO of Divine Elevation LLC, dedicated to empowering melanated women to transition from a life of relentless hustle and stress to living in the ease, bliss, and flow of their divine femininity. Now, we want to know how to escape the hustle and ease into bliss and our divine femininity. We want to know all about that. She has over 15 years of experience as a trauma informed healer, a spiritual life coach, hypnotherapist, and soma breath instructor. Queen Thandiwe has helped countless Black women heal and elevate their lives. Her signature program, Sisters Awakening, is a transformative 90-day Black woman-centered healing journey that liberates participants from past traumas and toxic patterns. Through a blend of ancient African spiritual practices and modern healing techniques, she guides women to awaken their divine feminine power, fostering harmony, joy, and self-love. Queen Thandiwe holds numerous certifications in coaching and healing, including Sacred Woman, Reiki, and Human Design, along with a master's degree in spiritual psychology and a PhD level coursework in transformative studies. Her unique holistic approach combines some somatic tools with spiritual guidance, Afrocentric psychology, and sisterhood. Having personally navigated childhood trauma, anxiety, depression, and marital challenges, Queen Thandiwe brings passion and deep compassion to her one-on-one and group programs. She walks alongside women as they rediscover their divine feminine essence, embrace their highest selves, and create purpose-filled lives of boundless possibilities. Wow, wow, wow. That is a lot of work that you've been doing to help us. We so appreciate you. Let me say that on behalf of all the women whose lives you touch. So,
Thank you.
Queen, welcome to the Big Up Yourself Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to be
Yay!
here.
Yay! Yay! So, okay, so people are here and ready to
Greetings,
hear.
greetings, everyone. Hello.
Yes, they are here on time waiting for you. Okay, so as we begin, as we normally do, I'm just going to ask you about your name. And I'm particularly interested in this, in your name. because I had not heard that name before, but I know it means something. I can't wait to hear what it means. So tell us about your name.
So it's South African from, I'm not the best clicker, but from the Xhosa language. And I actually received the name Thandiwe in a rite of passage ceremony. Now, it's been some years. But when I received the name, I didn't take it right away. And it means she who is loved or she who is beloved.
Mm.
And I remember, because in the process there's a certain way that they give you your name, and I remember receiving the name and just there was a feeling of breaking open, and that's the best way I could put it, joyfully breaking open.
Wow.
And I still was hesitant to use it. I knew it was really important to me, but I wanted to feel fully resonant and aligned with it. So it took me about a year to really take it. I think I went through maybe one or two other initiation processes before I was like, okay, I'm ready to wear this, put this on. And it was just natural to add Queen to it. Always knew it was going to be Queen along with Thandiwe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's amazing. And see, oh my gosh, that lights up my heart, because I'm always so interested in how people's names align with their purpose and their calling and their work,
Yes.
right? And I
Yes.
say to people, if your given name from birth does not say who you are, doesn't tell your story, doesn't align with where you are in your journey and your growth, you feel free to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to change it. It is your journey, it is your story, and you want to be able to embody that name.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
change it if it doesn't, like Iyanla Van Zandt. I mean, Iyanla was born
That's
wrong.
actually who gave me my name.
Really?
Yeah, it was her
Iyanla was
initiation.
your
I did
name?
initiation with her, and she's
Stop
the one that gave me my
it.
name. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
And she chose that for you. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. H&D Abroad said, I would love to learn more about a naming ritual. That
So I hesitated to speak to the one that I went through, because most initiation processes people don't really talk about outside of when you have the experience. But there are different ways that one could do a naming ritual, right? So even without speaking directly to the one that I actually experienced, there's so many ways. And I actually embrace the process so much that all my children have African names. When we did their blessing, it was really important that when they had of course, their birth names, but when we bestow their African name, we wanted to know them. We wanted to feel called to the name. We wanted them to feel called to the name. So all my sons have African names as well. When we gave our children their African names, it was through the Yoruba tradition. We worked with a Yoruba priestess, and it was music and, just song. And it was just absolutely beautiful. But a lot of anointing, water, chants. It was lovely, but it was also very intuitive and in the moment. For how I doubt if any of her naming ceremonies go exactly the same, or if they're particularly formulaic. So, but a person could pull a name. A person could see if they feel resonant with a name. My oldest son, who just graduated from high school, I hadn't quite done those types of things when he was born. So he took and found his own name. It was something that he felt really connected to and brought it to me. So there's so many ways that a person could come into connecting with a name. And even when I was younger, actually legally added the name Kali to my last name, because I felt deeply resonant with the Black Hindu goddess, Kali and Kali Ma. And because I resonated with her so much, I took that name. So even then, in my early 20s, I was still in my, I want to resonate with the name that I call myself all the time. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. So yes, guys, so her name is Thandiwe Kali, right?
Yes.
And you just heard the origin of those names. Wow.
Yes.
That is so great. Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn. Hey, Marilyn. Marilyn is ready to unleash your inner goddess, Queen Thandiwe, and your
Yes.
website. That is amazing, Marilyn.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you for posting that. Yep.
Wow. So we have, well, that was a beautiful opening. And we're going to transition to a part of the show that gets really personal, but it's such an important part because it sets us up for the foundation of a person's personal strength. And
Mhm.
and usually what we go through, um, uh, when we express, expressing our vulnerabilities and the foundation of our personal strength, trauma, when integrated and healed, can become a source of wisdom and strength,
Mhm.
right? And many
Yep.
times we find strength and inspiration to do something great because of adversity, and we're
Mhm.
moved to help others to do the same. Now, your bio says you personally navigated childhood trauma, anxiety, depression, and marital challenges. And man, that's a lot. Would you share with us a little of your journey through these adversities and how you overcame them?
Oh boy.
How
Okay.
you are overcoming?
You said briefly. That's the part I was like, oh,
No,
okay.
take your time, take
I'll
your
keep
time,
it short.
because that's a lot. I mean,
It is. It is. It's a lot.
so take
So, the interesting thing, and I think it's actually foundational to the work that I ended up feeling called to,
exactly.
is that I experienced sexual trauma at 3, very, very young.
Wow.
And yes, so and that's the different ages and stages and processes of when we have different experiences determines how we process them. And so to be that young, uh even the way it's remembered, those types of things, it was in a daycare. And so it followed me, and even to this day, even with all the work that I've done, I don't remember my life without having had that experience.
Yes.
And I remember when I struggled with it, I was like, wow, who would I be, had I not had that
Yes.
experience? Because so much of how my nervous system responded to things, so much about how closed off I was, how much I didn't trust, people. Even going through high school and everything, I didn't feel like I was very affectionate. I didn't
Mhm.
know if that was because of that. It was like every little nuance about me that showed up, there was always this kind of question. And again, when you're that young, apparently I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Because as I got older, so now you're 6 and 7, and they're talking about bad touches in school, and you're like, wait, that memory I have, is that what
Yes.
they're talking about? So my young mind is developing, processing, and figuring out even what happened alone, and not really, and then at a certain point, I think I got to a certain age where I was like, well, no one has talked to me about it, and I haven't talked to anyone about it, so I don't want to bring it up now. Very protective of how family feels, and not really wanting to open a Pandora's
Mhm.
box of things. And so this is how my mind is processing it, but my nervous system, I was very jumpy. I remember people would joke with me a lot about, which is a horrible joke, but kids, oh, you're a rape victim, you're so jumpy. I remember people would say stuff like that,
Mhm.
because I was very, don't touch me, don't stand too close to me. And so fast forward, I got to a point where, and I've experienced other things. I love my father, but he was an alcoholic. So I'm also an adult child, that grew up with an alcoholic parent. So that's that.
Yes.
So it also, in retrospect, created an environment that didn't probably lend itself to a child revealing something of
Mhm.
that magnitude, in that type of situation. So I hit around, teenage years, a lot of sadness. That's when I really started to panic attacks and things like that showed up for me. And then I would get so exhausted
Yeah.
from the anxiety that then I would hit depression, and I would be just really sad and just,
Yeah.
not even understanding why. And what I got really good at doing, which I'm really good at helping people out of now, is the thought loops. When your nervous system starts to feel something, your mind starts to want it to make sense. So your brain starts to go, okay, well, I'm just going to grab that memory really quick and go
Mhm.
relive that, because that aligns with what I'm feeling in my nervous system.
Mhm.
Or it is the memory bringing on that you almost don't even know which is leading. Is it the
Mhm.
memory, or is it the nervous system? Automatic responses. So I was always easily activated. That nervous system would get dysregulated like really, really easily. And then I hit about, I want to say about 25, and I had what a lot of people refer to as the dark night of the soul. I was living with my now husband of over 20 years. But we were dating at the time, and it was about 2 a.m, and I fell to my knees in his living room, and it was a different kind of cry. It was like that wail, which I have come to, I think wailing is one of the most powerful, dare I say, beautiful releases.
Yes,
But in modern culture, it's kind of not allowed, or
right.
someone a tissue or telling them not to cry, but it was that I needed to have that moment, and I developed a conviction that I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I say it that way. It was a very, every word, I do not, will not experience that. I don't know. And I said because my husband woke up and came in and was like, what do I do? Because, a lot of times men want to fix, I want to fix what's going on with you. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to take me. I just know in this moment, I have a conviction to not feel wounded by this anymore. Whatever, wherever, however that takes me, I'm going to take that path. And man, that's led me all the way up to here. But the first place it led me was seminary.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm also an interfaith minister. That was like, gosh, 15 years ago.
So let me ask you this. While you were in that moment wailing and having some sort of an awakening, were you thinking about the sexual abuse? Is that what was on your mind when you said you didn't want to feel this way anymore? Or it was just general depression you didn't want to feel anymore?
It was general depression and anxiety, but that was definitely a part of the background. The same way with the experiences I had with an alcoholic father were a part of the background, and other experiences that I had. Unfortunately, that wasn't the only sexual trauma I experienced growing up. So, things tend to tag on to other things, but that initial injury or wounding was kind of the biggie. But in that moment, that's actually an excellent question. In that moment, it was just it's almost like how the body remembers.
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of like this icky, shameful, rageful. So rage was a big one.
It was rage.
Rage was a big one. And I've learned over the years that rage is often found in those that feel powerless. Right? Rage feels powerful. Anger feels power. I can move walls. I can knock things down. There's a power. And so when your power is snatched from you at a really vulnerable moment or a really super young age, there's legit nothing in the world that you felt empowered to do to not have had. And of course, I didn't know about my work, the work that I do now, because you actually are empowered. But I did not know that then. So I just walked around with kind of a chip on my shoulder a lot too. So there was always that kind of anger. So I wasn't thinking specifically about that incident. That incident was so foundational and so subconscious in a lot of ways. It fed into the sadness. It fed into the panic. It fed into the anxiety. It fed into the rage, but wasn't necessarily in the forefront of my mind until I started to actually some of the peeling of the onion, as I call it, when it comes to things like forgiveness and healing, started while I was in seminary. Like really going, I need to look at this particular thing, not necessarily relive it. Not a fan of reliving past traumas at all. And I don't think it's necessary to heal them, but face it. But face it as me now, and opposed to facing it and kind of time traveling back to being a little girl. It's like, no, I don't want to put myself through that as a little girl, but as an adult, I'm actually empowered to face this situation as adult me, as Queen Thandiwe is dealing with this situation, not little baby girl that I now get to in interesting way, get to protect her now. I get
Mm-hmm.
to do that now. And so that's my learning for me, and understanding how the mind works and how the body works, and also finding my own deep connection with spirit, the most high, God, goddess, you know, universe, however people refer to
Mm-hmm.
the one, you know, having that relationship guide me to what to study and what to
Mm-hmm.
learn. You know, that just happens to be my purpose, the synthesis between spirituality, and I just love Black culture and the African diaspora. So it was just like a
Yes.
natural place to be. And then, you know, between that scholarship, that spirituality, and then the Afrocentricity, it just kind of became a marriage. So what I first started doing to heal myself, then I started to see you know, when you get your eyes open about your own situation, you start
Mm-hmm.
to see it around you. You start, oh wait, no,
Right.
there's a way, there's a, you know, there's a process that, you know, one could go through. There's a freedom that you can experience. And
Mm.
man, when I got into that yumminess, a lot of the what one in the sense of polarity would call masculinity, defense mode and anger and rage and aggression and all of that stuff started to fall off of me. And I started to normalize softness
Mm.
and bliss. There's so many women that have no idea what that feels like.
Yeah, you're right.
Bliss.
We're searching for that. Please
Yes.
share with us.
Yes.
How do we find
It's a once you experience it. I actually just had one of my Sisters Awakening sisters. We went through divine feminine activation just this morning, and you know, kind of check in, how you feeling? And she was like, and she said bliss. And I was like, it's going to become normal. It's going
God?
to become odd to not be in this peaceful, blissful, joyful place. But what I had to do, because the trauma that I experienced separated me from my body, you know,
Right.
and that's really what
That's
the body,
huge.
what the psyche does to protect you, right? Your psyche kind of goes off somewhere so that what's happening to your body doesn't completely devastate you, and that you
Mhm.
can function. So the holes in the memory and the whole 9 yards. But then, you know, when you grow up and you start to learn, okay, what does it feel like to get back into my body? And that's something I encounter a lot with the women that come to work with me as well. It's like, I'm not comfortable in my body.
Yes.
I'm not comfortable
Yes.
feeling good,
Relate. I can
or I
relate.
don't know how to relax.
I can
It's like,
relate.
because you're always on guard. You're always,
Mhm.
or you're always hustling. You're always checking boxes. You're always getting the task done. You're always putting out fires, you know,
Mhm.
and there's a way to intentionally be in masculine energy where you are, you know, organized and you're getting your business done. And there's nothing, masculine energy is beautiful. I love masculine. I'm raising 3 boys. I love masculine energy.
Mhm.
But a lot of times it's a trauma response
For
for
us,
people that have
yes.
experienced trauma, because they don't feel safe in the world. And that's a different orientation to one's masculine energy than, no, I'm free to tap into it whenever I want. And I'm free to be in bliss and ease and flow and softness. And I'm free to be in fierceness, but I get to do it intentionally. It's not coming upon me. It's not
Mhm.
happening to me. It's something I get to choose.
I
As you
see.
can see, I have to talk about this for I
So
love it.
now this is beautiful because you're just leading right into what with the meat of what we're talking about today. And so I do have a question. I have
Yes.
not given this much um thought or done much research on it. And so I do want to ask you today, for the people who are watching who also want to know, what is divine femininity, and
Mhm.
what, okay, you kind of explain what drew you to the work, but
Mhm.
what is it though, and why do you call it divine femininity, and what is being aware and aligned with it supposed to help us to do?
Okay. So we can start with the law of polarity. You know, I have the law of
Uh-huh.
attraction, the law of reciprocity, and we have the different universal laws. Well, one of them is the law of polarity, right? You can't have light without darkness, big and small, whatever the opposites are. So when it comes to energy, in the law of polarity, you have masculine and you have feminine. And in some ways, different cultures will align women primarily with the feminine and men primarily with the masculine. But we all have both energies in us, both masculine and feminine energy. Masculine energy would be, like I said, organization. It's the easy way to put it is masculine energy tends to be more external. And are you still there? Oh,
yes, go ahead.
And feminine energy tends to be more internal. So feminine energy is, some of the things that people associate with being feminine, being nurturing, being compassionate, but it's other opposites like giving and receiving, right? Feminine is receiving, masculine is giving, or the material world is masculine. The more etheric, cosmic energy, intangible is the feminine. So there's these different components, and people kind of put them nice and neatly in one box or the other. But it's basically that. It's that energy of receptivity, that energy of vulnerability, that energy of creativity, intuition. And the reason why it even needs to be talked about or ignited is because we live in a primarily masculine culture. And again, love masculinity, but there's imbalance. Right. And so someone being vulnerable might be associated with weakness. Someone being emotional, right? People talk about women being emotional when that's actually how we're oriented. We need to feel into the vibrations of the planet. We need to feel into the vibrations of the earth. Before the modern world wrapped all around us and put us in buildings all the time, it was that ability to have a sensitivity to the natural world around us, a sensitivity to the children, a sensitivity to the community through our emotions. That was a superpower and was absolutely necessary. And the masculine energy within communities were the protectors, they were the leaders, they were the providers, they brought the things and whatever, and from the outside world, the external, and then they brought it to the feminine energy, and that feminine energy was able to make it into a home and make it healthy and make it grow and all those things. So there's this dance, this harmonious dance between masculine and feminine energy, between people in relationships, but also within the self, right? This marriage. And a lot of times, because the culture rewards and values or tends to value more masculine attributes, women in the process of surviving in the culture are more likely to be putting on leader, protector, provider when they don't want to, right? So women make amazing leaders. But we might lead in a way that is heart-centered, or we might lead in a way that's intuitive, in a way that, if we're in a masculine dominant structure or system, might not necessarily celebrate an intuitive way of going about something. So a lot of the things that fall under the feminine category get downplayed, repressed, pushed down. And so a lot of women are naturally oriented to these things and have to push them down and find themselves kind of wearing more of the masculine traits that they don't necessarily always want to try on. So when I am working with women, I hear, I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm exhausted. I'm tired of everybody leaning on me, right? And then among Black women, because I work primarily with Black women, it's I don't want to be strong no more. I don't want to be tough anymore. There's this thing where I should be comfortable, in any given circumstance with more pressure and more things being added on and more, having to put out more fires and having to check those boxes. And then you talk to someone privately, because it's not even okay to say in public, I'm exhausted and I just want to be soft for a minute. I'm tired and I just want to be relaxed for a minute. Soft. I can't be soft. That makes me vulnerable. If I'm vulnerable, I'm in danger. Right. So there's all these associations, even among women, that make it not, why would anybody want to do or be any of those things? Meanwhile, there's this call. There's so many women come to me and say, I haven't been creative in years. I haven't, I used to draw. I used to write poetry. I used to sing. I used to love to do these different, I used to love to dance. I talked to a client recently, and because that's what my job is, to start pulling out what when you did experience something close to bliss, what were you doing? And it was like, oh, I was dancing. Oh, and I
Oh,
just,
that's such a good
and it's like,
question.
when is the last time you danced? Oh, it hasn't been for years. Why haven't you given yourself that gift? Well, I'm busy and I'm doing the thing, and I got the job, and I got the kid, and I got the, and everybody expects me to again check the boxes and do the things. So that's femininity, right? Already really beautiful, really powerful, right? What I call earthly femininity. Well, now you got divinity,
Mm-hmm.
and what, regardless of a person's religious beliefs or particular perspectives or philosophies, there's an energy that we all carry, that makes us especially powerful. This is when you start to hear things like intuition come into play. I just had a knowing, I had a gut instinct, I had a certain feeling. And what you find happens a lot in our culture for both men and women who have intuitive hits, they don't listen to them. They override it with intellect. They override it with the mind. And sometimes it's the intuition that gets you there before the intellect can. The intuition has the inspiration for you, and then the mind can come in and execute. But if we ignore what the intuition is telling us and we're just going off of the mind, sometimes the mind is going off of the nervous system, and the nervous system is going off the past, and the past is going off of an old wounding that is in the subconscious iceberg that's under the water that you're not even aware is running and driving the wheel and running your life. Right? So getting in touch with the feminine side gives us access more to that intuitive side, to that soft side, to be able to find more balance. That's often when people talk about work-life balance, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for, I need to not be in that hard, tough defense, survival mode so much. I want to be, and you hear a lot of, I don't know how. I don't know how to go from, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been, even when it comes to things like people pleasing, right? One might think that that's a more feminine thing. It's like, but you're attempting to control people's perception of you. You haven't freed yourself. Does that person even need you to come in and do all those things that you're doing? Even, and do you even want to be doing? Right. So it's getting back into the body. This is all feminine. Get back into the self, getting back into, because all of those things is external focus. External focus would be considered masculine. Internal focus would be considered the feminine. Right. So then when you take it to a more cosmic level, it's taking everything that I just described and elevating the vibration of it. Right. It's no longer this neutral, just earthbound kind of thing. Now in my prayers, now in my meditations, now in my intuitive knowing, now in the process and my ability to listen to my heart, listen to what I refer to a lot of times as womb wisdom. Right. That what they call feminine intuition or woman's intuition. All these things come into play. Understanding even how to heal ourselves, how to use nature to heal ourselves. That's when we start to get into cosmic feminine, sacred feminine, divine feminine. When we start accessing the more subtler wisdom, right? Sensory being the five senses, right? Sight, taste, smell, touch, hearing. Well, but no, I have a sense that's beyond those. I just this knowing that I'm starting to trust within myself, starting to follow through on even the program that my signature program, that was a call. The program I did before the Sisters Awakening. I did another one before that, Sisters Rising. I just felt a hit. You have to do this. And I'm like, what am I doing? Okay. Right. It's that ability to listen to that inner knowing, to those nudges, right? Combined with the vulnerability and the sensitivity and the freedom of creativity. And then these things start to swarm. That intuition starts to pull out creativity. That intuition starts to pull out vulnerability. It helps you really get to know yourself before the wounding.
Man, before the wounding, the original
before
stuff.
the wounding.
Yeah. So what you're describing, my goodness, you're right. We all should be living that way. It would be a beautiful world if we could all tap into that and stay in that place, man.
Yes.
That would, but most of us will not get there without coaches like you, trainers like you. So I'm so glad that you're doing this program, helping women to come back to themselves,
That's it.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, guys watching, don't you wish that you could just live in that perpetual state I live in a perpetual state of anxiety. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be honest. I'm fighting with it. I'm struggling with it, and
Yeah.
um, and so this is why I was so attracted to your program. And let me tell you something. When I went to one of your
It
one
was
of
an activation. Yeah,
oh
I
my
remember.
goodness, I swear it was like church in a different way for me.
Yeah.
Was it changed me, and I was like, I want
Oh,
more of this. What you offer is more of what I'm seeking, because now I'm feeling like traditional therapy and traditional medicine and stuff is not necessarily doing it for me. I kind of want
mm,
kind of what you offer, and the nurturing and the sisterhood that comes with that, the community, that's kind of what I need. So
yeah.
now, is there a sort of introductory sort of practice, or I don't want to say a ritual, I'm not sure what's the right term, that we can use to begin to tap into our feminine energy? Something that we can do, or something we can do here right now that will kind of become like a gateway into this feminine energy that you describe.
Yes. So it's like a house. There's a lot of ways in, you come in
Yeah.
through the window, you come in through the door, you come through the back door, through the basement. But what I find to be really important is the nervous system regulation. So like how you talked about traditional, I've done therapy, I've done all those things. I've done the spiritual work, and I find that they work really beautifully together,
Together.
right? So even in that, the more traditional the therapies and things like that, those structures are more masculine, right? They're more, kind of
Mhm.
rigid, follow rules and things of that sort. When we talk about spirituality and more ritualistic based practices, they're more fluid, they're more flowy, they're almost a little chaotic. That's the feminine, right? And so I don't really like to do one without the other. So my work, the PhD study work that I've done, studying extensively, Black women and trauma, within my master's degree program, as well as my PhD studies, coupled with the initiations and the spiritual work and the processes, intuitive downloads and all those. So all of these things are kind of married together. What's
Mhm.
extremely important is to get that nervous system regulated. And so
Mhm.
most of whether I'm working one-to-one or I'm working with a group, it's one of the first things that we do is we ground. We
Yes.
separate from the outside world, right? Because most people are coming into sessions from work or from their children or from, whatever busyness they have going on in their lives. And so we do a transition, which is really important for people to do when they get home. A transition. I even have people do transitions from when they leave the building that they work in to getting in their car. The 2 minutes. We're not talking long, drawn out, some of the like the practice I did with you, that could go longer, of course. But it's way more in depth. But you can also access the regulation of your nervous system within just 2 minutes of just sitting and being with
Yeah.
yourself. So
Yeah.
if I can show you, I'll share about 3 that are really simple, that you can do. You do have to a little bit get just somewhat anchored. So these are anchoring or grounding practices.
Mhm.
Um, and they are to help anchor you within your divine feminine energy, within that space of self-compassion,
Mhm.
self-intimacy, self-love, like really connecting with yourself, so
Mhm.
that you can get to that place of calm and grounding and remain present. On top of, I'll just say this is a little aside, water, fruit, sunlight, fresh air. Did I say sunlight? I said sunlight. Sunlight's a big one
Yeah.
for me. Grounding, touching some grass, leaning on a tree, letting that tree. One of the best things I ever did for myself was lay on the tree and tell it all my problems, all the things I was struggling with, giving it all of my anxiety, giving it all of my sadness, all of my anger, and having that tree be rock solid representation of the masculine principle of the material world. I'm not moving. I'm here, poured into me. And even feeling myself breathe. As I'm exhaling, it's inhaling. As it's inhaling, I'm exhaling. Like that rhythm, really getting into the rhythms of nature is really important as well. But we'll do a quick practice that you can call on whenever you need. So, and of course, feel free to evolve some of these. I'm not big into rule following. I give you a starting basis, and then listen to your intuition, listen to your heart, listen to, oh, my body wants to do this, right? I've evolved so many practices I've learned from other people by doing that, and just really, really made them my own. If at any point you need to pause, you need to stop. I'm very much into take care of yourself, honor your body, listen to your body, only go. None of this is very triggering at all, but just in general, listen to your body. But everything is about staying in harmony, keeping nervous system, mind, body, spirit, no forcing, right? You want to find yourself in a comfortable position, right? Back straight, heart center open. If someone's not comfortable sitting, they can always lie down. If you're sitting, one thing you can do to start off with is just slide your feet on the floor. Slide your feet back and forth on the floor, press down just to feel, but be in the mind of, this is the material world. The floor beneath me is my support. The seat beneath me is my support. And just take a moment in stillness and just notice with intricate detail the contact points. Where are your feet touching the floor? Right? Where's your legs, your back, your bottom touching the seat beneath you? But really let it take your weight. There's no need, really. I mean, we hold ourselves all up and strong in our seats, but we don't have to, right? That's a choice. And so just in the moment, right? Again, those 2 minutes, what if you let the chair completely take your weight? I don't have to hold myself at all. Taking a deep breath and exhaling. When you exhale, you drop your jaw. Again, we form a lot of tension in our jaws. We form a lot of tension behind our eyes. So what if we just let the jaw open slightly and let the air fall out? You don't have to do anything. Bringing the air in through the nose and exhaling. I like to think of it as a circular conscious breath, right? Breathing in, first part of the circle, breathing out, letting the air fall out. And you only need a few of these. And as you breathe, just noticing those contact points again. And if you need to even activate or engage your leg muscles by pressing down, really feeling how that seat doesn't move, really feeling how the floor doesn't move, letting those solid material world things that you have in your life, let them be a representation of the masculine for you, right? Letting it hold your full weight as you breathe. And then with each exhale, as you are releasing the air, you let the air go, let the shoulders go, let the neck go, let the jaw go, let the eyes go, let it go. And if this is new or if it's uncomfortable, know that you can pick it back up again in 120 seconds. But just for right now, just let it go. Feel yourself be supported. And just notice all the different contact points again. And know when it comes to the feminine, you're not thinking about the contact points. You're feeling, you're sensing. Like right now, sense your toes. Sense your pinky toe. Sense the toe next to that. Sense the toe next to that. Sense all of your toes. Just feel into it. We're talking intricate attention. Keep breathing. Good job. Beautiful. And when it comes to the exhale, so the second thing is the elongated breath. So if you breathe in for 2, you can breathe out for 4. If you breathe in for 3, you can breathe out for 6. If you breathe in for 4, Breathe out for 8, whatever's comfortable. And as you continue the elongated breath, this activates the branch of the nervous system called the vagus nerve, promotes balance, relaxation, and calm. And after these breaths, just notice how you feel, how your body feels, how your mind feels. Are they relaxed? Are they more quiet? And you can use this elongated breath anytime during your day. Just settling in. If you sit in your car, you can let the car hold your full weight. Do several of these elongated breaths. Just give yourself 60 seconds. And finally, I want to invite everyone to the special hug, right? Adding a special hug. This is especially helpful if you feel activated. If you feel that nervous system, that cup start to fill, you want to do yourself this favor. You're going to take your right fingers on your right hand, and you're going to put it under your left armpit. You can take your left hand and put it on your arm high above, about around your shoulder, and just not too much pressure. You want to create tension in your neck, but you want to just apply some pressure, especially to that sternum and breastbone area. Just hold yourself, right? And let yourself be in it if you need to close your eyes. And again, notice with intricate detail, what does that hand feel like high up on your right arm? What does that other hand feel like under your left arm? Yeah, just notice. Give yourself what you need. And sometimes you may feel the need to rock. I am not one who believes that you don't move in the midst of practices. Some of us feel called to rock, to move in circles, right? Especially if activated, because that is inside the cells of your body. That's not just a mental thing. Mm-hmm. And so movement also can help release some of that. And even while you're doing the hug, you can incorporate the elongated breath at the same time, breathing in for 2. Exhaling for 4. And with each exhale, just letting the shoulders drop, letting the chest drop, right? There you go. And just really letting those sensations land on you, noticing them, giving yourself that intricate, detailed, focused attention because you deserve it. You deserve 2 minutes of intricate, detailed, focused attention from yourself. Right? So these are just 3 ways to ground. And the more you focus on the present moment sensations that you're feeling, the more your nervous system gets to settle and relax. Right? If you do this on a daily basis, and what I have a lot of the women do is they progress and work with me is have them do it several times a day. So that even if they're not activated, their nervous system starts to normalize feeling like this. Mm-hmm. Feeling relaxed, right? We people often can't go from anxiety to like bliss. There's this middle road, and sometimes you don't necessarily need to be in bliss, just peace, just calm, just grounding, just feeling like I'm held. I'm okay. I'm doing okay, right? Going from I acknowledge and I'm aware in this moment I am not okay, but I have tools, quick tools I can use in 60 seconds to help me feel okay again, right? Mm-hmm. And you can do all of those separately, or you can do them in a line the way I just demonstrated. So I hope that was supportive. I hope that.
Oh my goodness. See? Oh my gosh. I'm several degrees more relaxed. Definitely more relaxed. I need more of this in my life. I really do.
And that's how you feel now in a situation where a person is activated. Often they forget to use these types of practices. Yes. So that's why we want to make it like, and you want to tag it to things. If I get in my car, you can take 2 minutes before you pull up, right? You can take 2 minutes before you get out of the car. You can take 2 minutes when you get in the car again. You can take 2 minutes before you get out of the car again. You go home. That's already 4 times that you can give yourself 2 minutes to do a practice like that, to make it normal within your nervous system to feel what you just felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you guys? How were you guys able to follow along with the activity? How are you feeling now? I would love to hear how you guys are feeling if you were able to follow along. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I feel so much more relaxed. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that I do not need to live in anxiety all the time. I have to
Yeah.
remind myself that
Yeah.
there are things I can do to regulate. Oh my goodness, that was so
Mhm.
good. That was so
Yeah.
good. This is so good. Uh, we have options, you guys. We have options. We don't have to live in a state of, as she put it, hustle all the time. We don't have to live in disarray all the time. You know, we can calm down, we can quiet down, and we deserve, like you put it, Queen, we deserve those moments of quiet and calm and intimacy with ourselves.
Yes.
We deserve those several times a day,
Yes.
right? If necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So now your project, oh my gosh, Sisters Awakening
Yes.
is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful program.
Yes.
I know that the latest one, it began on the new moon of June 6th.
Yes.
First of all, what
Yes.
is the significance of the new moon? And
Oh, it's just the beginning. Yeah.
oh, it's just the beginners. Give us a run.
Yeah, well, the beginning, right? So the new moon, like the full moon is when you are focused on, what you just did. You kind of go over what were your successes, what can you learn. But the new moon is like something is starting. So I always try to start things when it's a new moon.
Okay. All right. So give us a rundown of what the program entails. I'm so excited about this program.
Yes, yes, yes. So Sistars Awakening is basically it's a rites of passage. We go through 9 rites, and we go through it in 3 phases. And we do focus very much on melanated women. As a person that has gone through several personal development programs, I always feel like I have to twist myself into a pretzel to make it relevant to my own life. And so I said, well, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to blatantly speak to our experiences. I'm going to blatantly speak to our history, our herstory. I'm going to blatantly speak to our the various spiritual traditions throughout the African diaspora. I'm going to bring all those things in, so to really be able to center us in everything. The 3 phases are, as I mentioned earlier, it's really important to heal before we can even really get into the feminine aspect of things. So before we start to learn all about femininity and being in that energy and being vulnerable and all those things, we want to heal first. And so we heal we heal the Trinity, which is the inner child. We heal the feminine wound and we heal the masculine wound. So we
Really?
have
And
and
how
this
much time goes into that part of the healing? Like, is that one session or?
so the way it works, so there's an online component of
Uh-huh.
it. So when we meet in sessions, nothing is locked to a particular section. The sisters come with whatever questions they have. So it was really important to me that everybody be able to go at their own pace, right? So if a person has a trauma wound, like what, I've been healing over all of these years of my life, I might need to stay in the inner child part a little longer. And when
Mhm.
you're a part of the program, you have unlimited access to me via email, DM, Facebook group, text message, whatever.
That.
So they can work their way however long it needs to take and stay in touch with me, and then also bring whatever questions or whatever practices they want to do to the sessions. We do something called a sacred sistar circle. And we also do a divine feminine activation. Divine feminine activation is energy healing, is prayerful healing. It's what you encounter, what you were talking about earlier, where we do a lot of clearing. We open up our energy centers. We get very much in touch with our bodies. We do movement. But even in the sacred sistar circle, we do the grounding exercises. We add tools to the toolbox. In relation to nervous system regulation, we do breath work, and then we do whatever comes up, right? So if we have a circle and someone is activated around something in their childhood, all right, we're going to do something right here in the moment. So in the inner child work, we talk about the mother wound, but we also talk very much about one of my passions is that just because you had a struggle in childhood or a past trauma does not mean it has to stay exactly as you remember it or exactly as you're holding it in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do work specifically to become the adult in our past, in opposed to traveling back and becoming like the child in our
Mm-hmm.
past. So we learn to protect our inner child when she's triggered and to face these things as ourselves, again, without reliving it. We actually get to rewrite it and re-narrate it and what it would be and what it could be and what made her happy and connecting with that part. A lot of times when people have childhood traumas, that's all they remember about childhood. It's very it overrides. Well, what did she like? Well, what did she like to play? Well, what did she used to do? So, and with hypnotherapy technique, and half the time people don't know that we're in the midst of doing something that's opening them up. I'm just asking questions, but what starts to happen is that memory that was, say, darker, we start turning lights on. That memory that was difficult and painful, and it's just like, oh, but that thing that made her laugh, that thing that just, and then suddenly it was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I used to love the. And so these things start to coexist, right, in the mind. These aren't, we're not necessarily making up things. It was there, it just wasn't highlighted and drawn up, but now your adult self able to. So this is the kind of work we do with the inner child. Then we do the feminine wound that's related to the mother wound, the various different kinds of mother wounds, how it manifests, particularly through in the African diaspora. And then we also talk about what I like to call feminine self-sabotage, the people pleasing, the self-sacrificing, feeling in victim mode, but then no one wanting to actually face that they're feeling in victim mode, because that's something that people, shame all the time. Really dealing with feelings of shame and guilt, just really opening up the world to the whole experience of being human, right? Accepting ourselves, light and shadow as we are, so that we can heal and move on. And then there's the masculine wound, the parts of us that go into our masculine energy as a trauma response, the parts of us that are hyper achieving or feel like we have to, and if we don't, then we don't have value. And I gotta keep checking boxes, and I gotta keep being the strong one, and I gotta keep being the tough one. So that is also, that's phase one. In the process of phase one, and like I said, they can take as long as they need in that area. But then we move into the divine feminine, we move into the feminine, we move into self-love, opening the heart, and really learning and understanding more intricately all the different aspects of what it is to be both in feminine energy, accessing feminine energy with intention, and then also getting into the divine feminine, right? Also getting into that more cosmic, intuitive. A lot of times people not trusting their intuition, really learning how to trust the intuition, how to listen to it, how your intuition shows up for you, right? Because mine shows up differently than someone else's might. And then the last phase we call elevation, or elevate your life. That's when we start taking what we learned in the healing process, taking what we learned in the feminine expression process and all of that. And we learn to amplify our voices. We learn to turn up the dial and get more clear on what our vision is for our life moving forward. Now we get into the sacred masculine with intention. We start coming up with strategies and intentions and goal setting and what I call goddess goals.
Wow.
It culminates in what we call anointing the goddess identity. So this aspect of you that understands your strengths, understands your divinity, understands how the feminine works within you. And now you're stepping into what was always within you, but not in the forefront. Now this aspect of you, these different parts of the feminine archetype that you once thought you admired in somebody else, which is actually a part of you. It's like, who do I need to be to achieve these goals? Who do I need to be to pull off this strategy? We step into that space. So and that's really in short. I have a very detailed page that really explains the intricacies of it. But it's really beautiful and it's evolving. So the sessions are kind of the feminine part. It's the part where it's just intuitive, and we do what's, we're in sisterhood and we're all together and everybody's enthusiastic about doing the work. And then the masculine part is the online component where they engage with the videos and they engage with the practices. Things are recorded. They can do it over and over again. Same thing with the replays. And something I really want to point out, which has come up for some people, is they're like, I can't make all the live calls. One, everything is recorded. Everything is just as powerful. If you watch it on replay, you still have access to me. You still get an accountability sister that you work with, that y'all can work out your own schedule so you can do things at your own pace and on your own time. You still have the Facebook community and group. You still have access to every other component. So even if you're not live, you would still get a tremendous and profound transformation out of it. But I know that sometimes that makes people pause, like, oh, I can't make, every single live. It's like, it's impossible to create. I have one day that we do on Sunday to kind of incorporate people that can make it only on the weekends. And then I have a weekday for people that can only make it during the week. But even still, some people's schedules, again, busy hustle culture of just living modern life, makes it difficult to make time for oneself. So knowing that, and then I have a sister who is in England, and so when we have our sessions, it's like midnight, I think.
For her.
Yeah. And she comes on live, and she's like, I'm tired, but I want to be here. And
oh my God.
So people definitely make it work for themselves. But I also want to say, or if just a person's an introvert, they don't really want to be on camera and all those things. I'm very much an introvert, believe it or not, as much as I thought. I'm mostly an introvert. But you can definitely get a profound experience. It's a 90-day program, but they have the course part forever. They have access to the live calls and 24 hours contact with me. That's where the 90-day.
I see.
And then there's an option to continue month to month afterwards, if they want to. And I have a special link. I hope she put that's the link. That's the link with the a higher price, a more general price, but there is a 70% off.
Marilyn, I don't know if you can access the 70% off link. It's in the description box.
It's that same one, but it's -70 off.
-70 off
on the end, and then they could access it for the 70 off. I wanted to do that for you
guys. This is a program. I wish I could give this program to every woman I know. I feel like every woman I know needs this kind of community training, reconditioning. Oh my gosh. Yes, everybody. I mean, consider it. Go to the website, read up some more about what she just said, rewatch the video, hear what she just said about the program, and consider investing in this for yourself, right? This is something that every woman I know could use, really. Let's see. And she said there's a 70% off offer right now.
Yes.
So this website /70%
is dash. It's a
dash 70.
Yeah. So yeah, on the end there.
Danica said, this is so needed. I agree with you, Prophet Mother, because Prophet Mother said this is another masterclass. Oh my God. This is,
I see that.
Queen, I keep telling you, I'm telling you, this stuff is beautiful. This stuff is powerful. This stuff is healing. And listen, not a lot of things move me, but I'm telling you, your present, even being part of your Facebook group. Where's the Facebook group link? Even being part of that Facebook, I feel supported. I said this to you once already. Just visiting your Facebook group makes me feel supported, right?
Yeah.
And so excuse me, when I had the opportunity to sit in on that session with you, I'm like, this is just like so amazing.
Yeah.
This is good. You're doing good work. You are doing
Thank you so much.
So great.
I appreciate that. I appreciate people saying that. It definitely keeps the process going. This is my legacy. Sisters Awakening. Like I said, I've done other group programs. I've been working one-to-one a lot with people over the last 15 years. This is where I'm just like, oh, okay. This is the legacy. This is what I get to leave beyond when I'm, gone. That this will be something that can live on and be of support. And I knew it was coming through eventually. I just, waited on Spirit to tell me.
Yes, I understand. I understand that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's read some comments. Mimi said that 2-minute routine in the car might help with the anxiety I usually have before driving away from my house.
Yeah.
Me, that's going to help me tremendously because very often I work on the road, and just before
Mm,
I go in to see a client or something, I can do that exercise to relax a little bit. So you're
awesome.
right about that.
Yeah.
Um, and Prophet Mother says this is another masterclass. H&D says so needed. So needed. Oh, here's the 70% off link, you guys.
Yes.
Here's the link for the 70% off. Do
Yeah.
yourself a favor and get this program. Is there, but you're already given 70% off, so there's probably not a big payment.
Oh, yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Payment plan.
There's a payment. All that stuff is on page. Yep.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay, okay. And yes, absolutely, Marilyn for the win. Absolutely, Marilyn for
Thank
the win.
you, Marilyn.
Marilyn is on
Yeah.
top of it. Marilyn is amazing. Oh
Yeah.
my! Oh, wait a minute. There was an upgrade. Is there an upgrade part of it where?
There is an upgrade part of it. If people want to work one-to-one, there's a way that they can click on that and then sign up. So they get the full program, but then they also get to work one-to-one. And then there's bonuses and meditations and hypnosis tracks and
Yeah, because
all
I'm
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
interested here. You have the one-on-one Golden Goddess session. Then you
Yes.
have the human design reading. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the human
Oh, I
design
love human
reading.
design.
Oh my gosh, I was introduced to that by Prophet Mother. And then you
Yeah.
have something here that's, oh my gosh, women are gonna love this. Loving a masculine man.
Yes.
Masterclass.
So that's a bonus.
Wow.
That's a bonus specifically for the one-to-one, the upgrade. But yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
Have I
sex.
worked with women over 50? Yes, April, I have worked with women over 50.
Ah,
Actually, most of my groups are pretty balanced, age group wise. It's 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. But
yeah.
absolutely, I'm currently working with people who are over 50. I'm almost 50.
Congratulations.
I'm just saying, it's not like out of the realm. Like, it's in
Yeah.
my age group.
Yeah. I don't know why people think there's hope. She said there's hope.
Yes.
50 is not 50 is not
50 is
elderly
young.
at all. It's young. And then you have the sex magic for surrendered manifestation. Man,
Yep.
this is good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
was kind of like, well, what do I need? What would I want? What did I need 10, 20 years ago?
Yes.
And now that I've done, all the work and all the practice and all of that, and the 70% off, it's a gift and it's an offering to make sure that it's more and more accessible to people as possible as the program is growing and becoming what it's becoming. Everything is people are telling me what they need and what they want, and that's why I love the openness of the sessions when we come together as a group,
Yes.
because those sessions are written by the participants in the program.
Yes.
It's like, ding, this person has this going on. Ding, this person wants to address this thing or wants to clear this thing. And so those sessions are molded and flow
Mm-hmm.
with what's going on with the women in the program. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So, well, we're getting ready. We're winding down. We are winding down. And so, guys, we're here. We're creating space for cultivating self-love and compassion in the journey of trauma recovery. Queen Thandiwe, I want to thank you for providing that grounding exercise for us.
Sure.
And those practices that you do to foster self-acceptance, self-care, and self-compassion, all of which are essential elements of embracing feminine energy. By nurturing these qualities, trauma survivors can create a supportive inner environment that promotes healing and empowerment. Thanks for your amazing work. And I just want to ask you, as we're about to close, what would you like to big up yourself for in this moment?
Okay, so the first thing that popped in my head is social media. because
mastering
I
that?
don't, I don't market like as long as I've been doing this, everybody's come to me through like referral or, you know, someone new or saw something like this. But outside of that, like posting and all of that has been like very foreign. And I would say over the last month or so, even my clients are like, girl, you all over social media, because that's how much I want to really connect with more people and really get this work out there. And so I'm posting about my family and how my son just graduated from high school. And I'm really letting people, my little introverted self is like,
Yes.
hey, hi.
Yes.
It's one thing when I'm talking about like my work. That's like, it's something else. But like, just like, hey,
because where were you in Hawaii the other day?
So sharing like travel with that. My husband and I are big travelers. We're actually about to go to Greece. That's about to be our big trip, Greece and Croatia. So posting about like those types of things and just kind of being 2 to 3 post-ish, you know, a week more than I've ever done before, where I was just kind of on there. And I had the Facebook group and I was active in the Facebook group. But again, that felt more like, you know, doing the work that I do. But actually being on my personal page and like engaging, that's my big up myself.
Good for you.
Being out of my little shell of introversion and sharing myself with Facebook.
Good for you, becoming more open.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy your Facebook group.
You too.
You guys join her Facebook group. I'm telling you, I love going to that page. I feel so supported. I feel like there's help over there.
Yeah.
Help over there. What's she say here? Thank you for introducing us to Queen Thandiwe and her powerful program. So inspiring. You are welcome. I'm so happy to have her here. And by the way, guys, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. And leave a comment. And look, I know I'm asking a lot, but after this live, if you go back to the channel and leave a comment on the video, it would really help your girl out a lot. I'm kind of stuck in the Facebook algorithm. Like my channel is just not budging. So Facebook doesn't know that I'm doing a show. So it would help your girl a lot if you leave me a comment. And let's see what else we got. Yeah. Oh, here is the Facebook community for Queen Thandiwe. You need to join that community.
That's not the group.
Huh?
That's not the group. That's my business page that I don't really use that much.
Oh.
I'm going to let's see. I just want to make sure I get the exact. Yeah, that's the. So it's Black Woman's Guide to Awaken the Goddess Within. That's the name of the group.
Black Woman's Guide to
Awaken the Goddess Within.
I don't know if I can type fast enough. Black one. Is it woman?
And it's Black. It's BLK instead of spelling out the whole word. And then woman, MAN. Apostrophe S. So the Black is BLK. And then Guide to Awaken the Goddess Within. And then you can find a link there.
Black. No, BLK.
Yes.
Woman's and guide to
Awaken the Goddess Within.
All right.
Yeah.
There it is.
Awesome.
That's the Facebook group. The one I go to all the time. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
All right, you guys. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Prophet Mother, I thank you so much. Marilyn, you are the bomb. You are the bomb. And you deserve a paycheck, girl. And Mimi and Danica of H&D Abroad, I want to thank you guys. Listen, thanks for spending time with us this afternoon. And as we part, may there be ease within your being, and may you be free. Until next time, I want you to big up yourself. Thanks, Thandiwe, and thank you guys, and catch you next week. I'll talk to you right after this. Thanks, Marilyn.